Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to Assassin's Creed Origins. This is episode 3. Remember, new episodes every day at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, it'd be awesome for you guys to hit that like button for more episodes. So today we're going to do some more sub-quests and explore more of Siwa. Siwa, C'est la vie, whatever. We can do striking the anvil, the water rats. We might be strong enough to handle that now. So we're going to tackle that one first. So we're going to use our trusty Falcon, to go explore the area. And this is just a great way to survey the map and just see a lot of what this oasis area has to offer, as well as, you know, find little hunting spots if you want to do that. There's so much that you can do in this game. You can swim, you can ride boats, but not the same way that you could in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This is not, you know, pirate days, although Egyptians had sea warfare, it just wasn't like pirates, you know, with cannons and stuff, mostly arrows and, you know. But there might have been some swinging on ropes, you know, to get to other barges or ships. I forget what they called them.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I know the Egyptians had some pretty cool ships, actually. I can't remember what they were called, though.
The problem that I have with some of these massive forts, though, is I'm seeing a lot of Roman and Greek architecture. Like, with mixtures of Egyptian stuff, like right there. Like, you know, that's the ram and stuff like that. But
yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I have no idea.
Maybe that stuff is lost to history or something, but it just... I played a lot of Roman games, like Total War and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm very familiar with that type of, like, architectural style. Like, very Greek, very Roman. Because basically, Romans kind of stole Greek stuff, you know?
Yeah, they definitely built off each other. Yeah, definitely. I don't know.
I like to think of the Romans kind of like a symbiote. They were kind of like Venom. You had Greece was like Spider-Man, and then you have Venom merged and did stuff, and they just kind of copied things. But the Roman soldiers were really cool. I thought, you know, they were a lot cooler than how the Spartans looked.
Whatever, Spartans were the best warriors in history.
They were the best
awesome.
warriors, but the Roman army looked pretty scary, you know? Okay, that's our target.
Spartans rule all. The Spartans were the best people in the world. They were so cool.
The only way the Spartans, you know, were uncool is when they got trapped in a small little...
they fought off
they did.
thousands of people with like only a few hundred of them. Which just showed that they were better. There
was actually a funny meme that was about 10 years ago. Well, I don't even know if it was called a meme. It was like an art piece around the time of the 300 or something. They had the Spartans trying to use a GPS, and they got locked up against that wall, that famous place where they fought off all those people, and they were saying Spartans were bad with directions. Like, it was funny. Because they were like, well, we're here now. We could always turn back. And they're like, well, there's kind of a problem turning back. Oh,
but I thought
then we'll make our stand here.
I thought they went in that crevice on purpose so that they could only have to fight a few people.
I mean, they were pretty, like, crazy soldiers, like, in terms of, like, skill and melee combat and stuff like that. So it was an ingenious move, but eventually they lost to overwhelming numbers and exhaustion. Because the human body's only capable of so much, they were pretty awesome.
You know what's interesting about that stand is that many people say that if the Spartans had not stood their ground at that point, then Athens and all of Greek culture, including like democracy and philosophy and all the things that we learn about government and things from their culture, might have never influenced the rest of the world because it might have been destroyed if the Spartans hadn't given their lives.
They actually, the army, I believe, that was attacking the Spartans because they, you know, protected all of Greece, which Greece was actually enemies at this point, I believe. The Spartans were like...
Well, yeah, they weren't all together. Like, they didn't always...
They weren't one big happy family.
But the Spartans did sacrifice themselves for, like, the other Greece. You know, they were like city-states. Yeah. Definitely.
Aha! But we are in Egypt now, so... Ow. See, he's better than a bow with...
Yeah, and then because of Alexander the Great conquering everyone, he kind of spread Greek culture everywhere. That's... Hey, what? So, yeah.
I would like a little Easter egg, like, in this game. We run into a room, like a school, and they're teaching Greek. That'd be funny.
That would be interesting.
Because that's what would be happening right now, so...
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I would think you would be speaking Greek, but I don't know.
There were some Assassin's Creed games where they actually start with the actors speaking in a foreign language, and then as you get closer to them, then you hear everything in English.
Well, I love how these games get people interested in history and stuff. I mean, I know that, you know, it's a fictional tale about this guy, and it's based on history, but it's still pretty cool.
It's fun. I mean, usually what happens, I'm letting you guys and gals know the reason why we thought about doing a Subbox bomb for you guys, but I mean, we're going to be playing Mario Odyssey in like a couple hours, and I mean, that's going to take up a lot of our time, so by having one episode a day, at least you guys aren't barren with content. And I mean, I would love to keep playing this game. Like, I've already played several hours today, but I know that Mario Odyssey is coming out, and it's just like I'm going to be overwhelmed with that. But Fire Emblem, we're pretty much done with. We're doing actually the history mode. Amber did like all 21 episodes like within 2 days, like of the story, and we've just been kind of like having fun playing history mode. Although that's actually pretty challenging. History mode is nothing to sneeze at. It's fun though.
Yeah, I mean.
But we have plenty of time to play Assassin's Creed at the moment. One episode a day. One. Because Assassin's Creed games, one of the things I would love to do, because we've had the game for a while, but there were a lot of limitations that Ubisoft gave people.
I used to come here as kids.
Okay, he's talking about Aya. That might be his wife or something. I don't know. Or girlfriend. It looked like that female assassin that we saw in the first episode where he didn't have his awesome beard. But they have a lot of rules that is preventing us from releasing our series early because we don't want our video to be taken down or get a copyright strike. But we pretty much, all the things that we talked about, like briefly that, you know, this is the time of Cleopatra, technically that's a spoiler, talking about some of the wonders of the world and all this other stuff, and, you know, just everything in general, even showing, like, the opening and stuff like that. They had a lot of limitations of what you could do. And then they're like, feel free to stream for 2 hours, but you can't show this. So if like we were streaming this right now, there would be parts where we'd have to either throw up a black screen or do something, and it just seemed way too confusing to me. So it's just like, I'm going to wait until the game comes out, and then we'll start releasing our episodes.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
I'm in no hurry.
I'd rather do more of it than just kind of...
I want to explore. I want to do a live stream where we explore, like,
I really
Giza
hope we can find the pyramids. Yeah,
they're in this.
Definitely.
They're in this. This is the largest map in Assassin's Creed. Everybody said that the pirate one was the longest one, like the Black Flag. But this one, you get to explore most of ancient Egypt, Alexandria, and a couple other famous cities. The Nile is in this. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
But as far as I know, the Red Sea is not in this, and neither is some of the either southern or eastern parts of Egypt. So this is just like the really big places.
Yeah, like the main places, especially like during this time. Yeah.
But you could like hop on a camel, or you can use your falcon. As far as your falcon can fly, that's where you can travel.
Yeah.
So even I wouldn't advise taking, you know, your guy here into the desert without any water. But if you want to run out in the desert and go hunt a lion or something, you can. You might die from exhaustion, though. I think that can happen. Not sure.
Yeah.
Because they try to make these games with a little bit of realism.
It feels like I'm learning more about history from video games than ever before, because we did that Arslan thing about the Persian Empire, and now we're
really
doing
cool.
the Egyptian Empire, and it's like, I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, when was this? And I'm looking all these things up.
My only regret with the YouTube thing is back when Assassin's Creed 3 came out and we were like really rolling in the views, I know so much about the American Revolution and French Indian War and like visited all those sites that when I never got to do a Let's Play, like if I invested all my energy into that now, like a couple years later, nobody's gonna watch it. And it's like that is my one big regret of being a Let's Player, is I never really got to share like all that stuff about the American Revolution and, you know, how everything started that and all the battles and Bennington and Massachusetts, and all those really great areas that I've literally been to.
Yeah.
So to be able to talk about ancient Egypt or Japan and stuff like that, I find that really exciting. And I really hope that there is going to be a game based on feudal Japan, because other than, you know, the American Revolution, I was very well versed in Japanese history. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you love, you know, learning about Japanese culture and stuff. Actually, we were just in Barnes and Nobles recently, and we got that interesting book on, well, it was the Code of the Samurai, and I was like, I don't even know why I got this book. I mean, it looked really cool, but then I was like, I don't think I'm ever gonna. I don't think I'm gonna use this in real life, but it is cool.
No, you don't want to practice that code in real life. Except for, you know, the parts about being polite and courteous and stuff like that.
Yeah, but not some of the
not some of the failures. But my love for ancient Egypt actually is thanks to Brendan Fraser's Mummy movie. As soon as I saw Odin Fair as this Coptic Christian guy, and you know Rick O'Connell during World War I, and all the treasure hunting and stuff like this, I really got sucked into ancient Egypt and learning about all this other stuff. So I would go to our local library and do whatever I could to learn about, and you know, information was kind of limited. The internet was still basically really starting to expand in the early 2000s and 1999 and stuff like that. So
there it is. This is the article I found. The Hyksos.
Hyksos, thank you. Yes.
And they were actually seen as kings in Egypt during that time. So, they were, you know, called by the Egyptians as their own, you know, kings of a different people that lived in the Delta area. 14th and 16th dynasties in the northern part of the country. So, yeah, so it's actually interesting because they didn't worship Ra, they worshiped their own, you know, gods and whatever, or their own god, and they were different than the rest of the Egyptians. And
the Egyptians did not like them.
They slowly, you know, settled in there, which is totally goes along with, you know, Joseph and, you know, how he settled his father in there and stuff. And then they eventually left. After they left, the Egyptians were mad because they basically rebuilt what they, you know, after these people had left, they rebuilt everything to worship Ra again because they were mad at the people that lived there because they didn't worship Ra. So they were definitely in there for quite a while.
I knew it started with an H, but I mean, I can never. You're always better at remembering names.
Well, I have my phone here, so yeah, they were called the Hyksos people, and they were Semitic people from a foreign land that lived in Egypt for hundreds of years, and then ended up leaving right around the same time that they say the Exodus happened. So it's just, yeah, there were a lot of them. So.
Oh yeah.
And
why
actually,
did we take this guy down? He looks kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like a... See, that right there, that is an Egyptian shield. See it? It looks like kind of a, right there. It's like, it looks like an axe, but it isn't. It's kind of like fan-shaped, but it has points. That is something that you would see like a elite, especially in the Mummy movie, like an elite guard of the Pharaoh. And the Magi in the Mummy movie, they had two roles. Like during the time of World War I, they're Coptic Christians and stuff like that. So they're kind of like knights of a sect of the Templars or whatever. But in the time of the Pharaoh, the Magi, they were like bodyguards of the Pharaoh, like Secret Service. They weren't just police. They became police later on in Egyptian history. Yeah. But they were like, their start was protecting...
Like a guard.
Yeah. Like the only problem with being one of those guys, though, is when the Pharaoh died, so did you. You would accompany the Pharaoh into the afterlife.
Oh, wow.
So if you're healthy and you have a family, that's, you know, that was the downside to that lifestyle.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch.
Yeah, the stuff that they had to worry about with their afterlife book and stuff was pretty intense. But if you think about it, like the Egyptian pharaoh, like everything was on his shoulders, because he supposedly had to fight for his entire country after he died. So it was like,
that's why he would have all the riches and stuff. So he
got
could
to
get an
live
army
it up.
And stuff like
yeah,
that.
he got to live it up now. But then when he died, he supposedly had to fight for his country or whatever. And
Yep.
But yeah.
Yep.
I don't really know what happened after that.
Well, I mean, so I mean, Odin Fair's people, they changed a lot of stuff. They talked about it briefly in The Mummy, and there's actually a Mummy book that talks more about Odin Fair, his character. I don't remember what his character was called, but they were supposed to do a movie about that group, but they never were able to because I believe they did the Scorpion King instead with The Rock, which,
Which
the
was
Scorpion
kinda
King
there.
was, it was okay. It wasn't as cool as Emotep and, the stuff like that, and Seti.
Yeah.
Whoops, I accidentally showed you guys the legendary stuff, which I want to show you guys, but like I said, I really want to experience what this game has to offer with all of you guys at the start. I could easily wear better armor and weapons, and there are some cursed weapons that I have. There it is, the air attack.
Wait, what? You said you have cursed weapons?
Yeah.
How would that help you?
Well, I mean, actually,
it would curse the people you use it on?
It would curse them, but it also curses me. The cursed weapons take about half my health to use.
Wow.
Yeah. Which makes sense because the Egyptians, they're magic people, or they're Merlins. We're into some freaky stuff using apps, like the poison snakes, like
asps.
Asps, yeah.
Well, I mean, they had all kinds of magicians and sorcerers and stuff going on. Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted to see, which I don't know if they still had it at this time, but they would worship all kinds of animals. Like, they'd have, a temple to a crocodile.
We just
god,
passed,
and,
we passed the temple to rams. So, yeah.
They would have all kinds of animals that they would, consult, and, if the crocodile did a certain thing, then they would go to war or whatever, and not. It was just interesting.
So you see how the different pelts and things you collect, you can actually craft your own abilities, which is cool. But you still need a blacksmith to get stronger weapons. But in terms of fashion choices, you can kind of craft them yourself, which is cool. You just have to get the materials. But like I said, when you're hunting, be careful of leopards and hyenas. The hyenas, they look like they travel alone, but they don't.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. I did some free roaming before we did the third episode because I had to start another save file because, let's face it, I'm going to get lost. I'm not going to know what I'm doing. And you guys, because you're only getting one episode a day, you gotta get that goodness going. You gotta progress the story, right?
Yeah, I want to see what happens. I need something to happen in this episode.
Yeah. So that's what happened to me today. I got attacked by hyenas.
That's great.
When I was hunting. I was, because they were he's like, I think I've killed enough of this, what are they called? Elk? Not elk. The little, the four-legged, deer-like creatures.
I have to say, though, this seems like the air would be pretty clear in this area.
Oh, it'd be beautiful here.
Because there wouldn't be a lot of humidity, obviously, because it's extremely
it's an oasis.
dry. I think you would actually fare well right now living here because you do badly with there's a lot of, wetness and stuff. It's I think you would breathe pretty well in Egypt. I'm just going to say that. During this time. I don't know what it's like now, but...
we don't even know what month this takes place.
Yeah, you don't know what season this is, definitely.
Because, the desert always looks like this, mostly. Alright, so what are we looking for? Oh, we're looking for the blacksmith's tools and the captain that we have to take down because he made our friend the blacksmith sad.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like to see is turning the hawk or the falcon into an agent of death. You target an enemy, and then you have the falcon go in and either distract or obliterate the target and have... I want to keep calling him Ezio. That's because there were so many Assassin's Creed games with Ezio. Have B come in and attack somebody else.
Yeah, I haven't... Really? How many Assassin's Creed games were there with Ezio?
This is the 10th canon installment. There were 4 or 5 games with Ezio.
Wow, that's a lot. Oh my gosh.
Yep. And he traveled the world in one of them.
I have to say, though, this is a nice change of pace than the usual, big city Assassin's Creed game.
There we go.
This is very peaceful.
There is going to be a big city. We're going to go to Alexandria after this.
Still, it'll look different than all the other cities we've seen, I think. It's gonna look like a regular city, isn't it?
No, it's massive. It reminds me of Florence, Italy, except bigger.
Okay.
And there's this I mean, I don't want to do too many spoilers because you haven't seen it yet, but I've gone to the next area.
That's fine.
It's a lot of fun. The only thing that I wish that he had, Ezio was able to run into Leonardo da Vinci, so Leonardo da Vinci let him use the flying machine so he could be kind of like Batman and glide at night.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be any gliding or hot air balloons for this guy.
Well, I mean, there was some Greek and like philosophers and maybe inventors. I don't know.
I don't
if they
think
were
Aristotle
around.
was around during this time. I think he's long dead. Maybe.
I don't know about Aristotle. I don't know when he existed. You're
Okay.
asking me like, man, my mind is literally.
It's an ADD thing.
When you ask questions, it's like I have to find the.
I can do rapid fire.
I feel like I'm being like quizzed on the most like difficult quiz I've ever taken in my life.
Yes, I can outrun you. I can climb cliffs.
You can like ask me a million extremely hard questions without even thinking about it. Alright, fine. I'm not gonna get rid of this because I found a really good.
I have an arrow sticking in me. That's not cool. Hold still so I can shoot you. He's like moving really fast for a guy with that type of haircut. Come on. I know I have gravity-defying hair, but at least I didn't have like a horrible bowl cut. Whoever decided to cut Roman's hairs like that was a horrible, horrible fashion choice. It did not look slick or cool. It just, looked weird. It reminds me of like that terrible bowl cut I had as a kid. Like sometimes, just hate it. Come here. Ow! Stop with the arrows!
Worst haircut ever.
You've not failed this city. I'm so bad at this. Die already! Thank you! Man. I don't even know how to get the arrows back that I just wasted. It took me like 8 shots to get that guy. That's really lame. Like, super lame. Can I get him from here? No? Maybe? No. I need like a stronger bow, like something that has like more of a taunt to it, because my bow is not really hurting people. It's making them mad, but it's not killing them. So I feel like I'm failing assassin school. It just feels like this assassin, it's like you learn as you go, whereas the other assassins, like right away, boom, you knew these were the assassins. You could do cool kill takedowns and, you know, snipe from far away with some type of long-range weapon. This guy, he doesn't feel like very skilled.
Well, I don't know if he's used to being an assassin. He's supposed to be a protector. Now he's like killing people. Maybe he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not used to killing people as much. He just had to do it because he didn't want to. You have to remember, this is Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah, I
So
know.
maybe he had to become an assassin. He's used to protecting people. He had to learn to. But he didn't seem to have a problem killing that one guy who came after him.
Well, I mean, you know, it's... Oh, you mean the Roman...
Masked guy,
The
yeah.
solid breastplate. That with it.
A solid breastplate? Where's the solid breastplate? I want that. Oh, we're
you
gonna go up here.
Oh, wow, you can climb that with your little hands?
Yeah,
Talented.
always in Assassin's Creed games. There's always something. Well, actually, no. Assassin's Creed 3 didn't have a lot of towers. In fact, actually, if you went up on the roof, like a redcoat would try to shoot you. So it was
Wow.
less jumping from trees and towers than some of the other games. Which, I didn't like that, but, you know, whatevs. This is a good stopping point, though. Anyway, guys and gals, that does it for this episode. Join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the 4th installment. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell us how you're enjoying the series in the comment section below. And share this video, too. God bless and happy gaming.
See ya!